Hmm. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great weekend here. It's Saturday here in North America, and I'm Tomás Garza, your host for A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And as we wait for people to hop on the show here, this will be the final day that I'm broadcasting live from Western Oregon. My wife, Cindy, and I have been up here on a trip. And we've been here for the past couple of weeks. There's a very, very big Labor Day camp out and event that we go to every year with some friends. So we get to see people that we don't ordinarily otherwise see, friends and family. It's really been a lot of fun. And we're hitting the road again on Monday. So you'll see me next week on Wednesday broadcasting from my usual office in Phoenix, Arizona. So I hope you enjoy this broadcast. This will be the last day where I'm here with this setup, and you can see the pitched roof behind me. We have an attic room here, and we've got the curtains happily behind me, which block off a lot of light and makes it so that you can see me, because that's always good. It's always good to be able to see the person presenting, and it's really fun to be able to hear the person presenting. Thank you, the technology. And what's even better is that you take to heart what I'm about to say and think about it and ponder it and practice it. In other words, apply it, put it into practice in your daily life. Oh, yeah, because that is what A Course in Miracles is all about. That is what spiritual practice in general is all about. And it's fun. Really is, even though it's scary pretty much all the time to the ego. We're going to talk about fear today. We're on Workbook Lesson 160. So as people hop on here, feel welcome to say hello. I know a couple of you are on the stream here. And if you have comments or questions while I'm live, feel welcome to leave them here. I'll have a few remarks about the idea for today, and then we have time for an ongoing dialogue. And it's very, very important that if something comes up here and you have a question, to ask it. And you could ask it right here on the live stream and get an answer. And if you think of the question later, you could also type it in, because the comments are here. As part of the beauty of doing a Facebook Live is the ability to interact live. And if you're catching me on the replay, thank you for catching me on the replay. All right. And again, comments, questions, if you have those, please feel welcome to leave them. And thank you for all of the shares of this page. And yeah, the hearts, the likes, comments, fun stuff like that. All right. It's always great to be able to interact live. So the idea today is coming from the workbook for students, and we're up to lesson 160 today. And that's, I am home. Fear is the stranger here. I am home. Fear is the stranger here. Now, clearly, we're not talking about a physical home. Now, even if I were broadcasting from my physical 3D home in Phoenix, Arizona, which I'm not today, that's still not what I'm talking about. Home is not a place. It's not a country. It's not a nationality. It's not a physical body. It's not a gender or a job title or a designation of species, like human being. It's none of those things. We're talking about the truth, ultimate truth, who we really are. We are home. How can we say this? We've never left. We've never left. Fear, in fact, is the stranger. We have always been at home. We're simply having a contrary experience. Why? We've chosen fear instead of love. In other words, we've chosen the ego instead of God. We've chosen the ego instead of our higher self, self with a capital S, I'm referring to. So you may plug in whatever word you wish in your own tradition, something that is aligned with you and that resonates with you. A Course in Miracles uses the word God to refer to the truth of all that is, which, by the way, you're included in and have never left. That's why we can say with all confidence, I am at home. So we have a choice every moment of every day between fear and love. We may look upon the world and our experience and think we have thousands or millions of choices. We have a choice what to purchase in the produce section at the supermarket. And if we're talking about making dinner tonight, we have a choice to have vegetarian or non-vegetarian. If we're going to have meat, beef, chicken, fish, pork, lamb, I don't know. Lamb. Okay. I'm distracting myself with food. See how that works, right? We look around the world and it seems as though we have millions of choices. The truth is we have two choices. There's really only one choice that we have to make, and there are two options there, love or fear. And we make that choice every moment of every day. That is why in A Course in Miracles, teachers like myself stress the present moment. If you're a student of Eastern philosophy, Buddhism, for example, you'll have heard a lot of talk, lots and lots of talk about the present moment and the miracle of the present moment. We have an opportunity right now to choose. We have never lost that opportunity. Even if it feels like we have not. We've simply chosen fear. And happily for us, it's just a mistake. So as I often do on this live stream, I want to come back to the summary of A Course in Miracles, which really is the premise on which this whole thought system is based. And of course, it has given rise to an entire self-study curriculum of which the workbook for students is only one part. It's not the whole thing, it's just part of it. But to sit with these ideas is very, very important. To practice them and apply them in your life is very important, because we come to discover that spirituality is not about belief. It's about application, right? I mean, how do you actually come to believe that something is true if you don't apply it and show yourself that it is true? We're showing ourselves that we are at home and that fear is indeed the stranger here. So let's go back to the introduction, the summary of A Course in Miracles, which you can find at the very beginning of the text. And it says this course can be summed up very simply: nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. Who you are cannot be threatened. It has never gone away. You are at home in God, right? One with God, as spirit, as one with your source. You are at home and you've never left. Nothing real can be threatened. Similarly, nothing unreal exists. The ego is not real. Fear is not real. Think of all of the manifestations of fear in this lifetime, where we spend almost all of our time anywhere other than the present moment, which is where we need to be in order to choose love. We spend a lot of time on the past, thinking about what we could have done yesterday in a certain situation, thinking about what we should have done in X situation. When someone said this nasty thing to me, I should have just taken a couple of deep breaths and ignored it. Instead, I fired off multiple tweets and comments on Facebook and made myself look utterly ridiculous and like an angry fool, right? Yeah, who can relate to that? People spout things off just because they can. We spend a lot of time woulda, coulda, shoulda-ing ourselves. We beat ourselves up for things that are literally in the past. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that the past is gone. We don't need a live stream to tell us the past is gone, do we? We really don't. We don't need elaborate courses and books. The past is the past. It's not here. Also, the future is not here. We spend a lot of time in the present moment, either thinking of the past or the future. We worry about what may come to pass. We worry about what may happen in 15 minutes, what may happen tomorrow. We're really concerned with what someone else is going to do or say that we have absolutely no control over, yet we choose to spend the present moment worrying about that. Think about it. Most of the time, we're somewhere else, we're someplace else, and we're in some other time. Only the present moment exists. That's where we can choose to distract ourselves with fear or to choose love. It's really quite simple. So what happens is we make a complicated mess out of that, don't we? Enter the need, the critical need for spiritual practice and for mindfulness, for meditation, for taking our attention away from what's concerning us about the future or the past, bringing it right back to where we are and making a different choice in the moment. It's why these practices exist. We need them. That's why it's so important. And having chosen this enough, we come to realize that we've never gone anywhere. We are, in fact, at home. Fear is the stranger here. Thoughts about the past, well, it's fear, right? It's fear-based thoughts, dwelling on what you could have done. You're afraid of how other people are going to see you. You're afraid of how you're going to treat yourself because you behaved in a certain way. If we're thinking about the future, we're afraid that things are going to turn out a certain way. We're afraid that people aren't going to do what we specifically, control freaky, want them to do. You may not fancy yourself a control freak, but we all are if we're not placing our awareness where it belongs, which is right here, right now, which is all that is. Existence, life, is the present moment. It's literally all we have. So when we're somewhere else, we are literally in fear, whether you consciously are aware of that or not. So what I vote is that we make ourselves consciously aware of this, and we sit with ideas like this, because who you are, the truth of who you are as one with God, in God, a part of God, yeah, who, by the way, is completely indivisible and simply is, you've never gone anywhere. We've all just taken a crazy little detour. In this detour, identifying with a separate sense of self, that's the ego, we suffer, and we suffer sometimes mightily. We're ostracized by family and friends. sometimes. We're fired from our job. We are stuck, apparently, in situations of great drudgery and suffering. We suffer physical illness and disease. Throughout all of this, we choose not to recognize the power of our own mind, the power of who we are, the truth of who you are. So my hope is that you may take this idea to heart, that you may read the commentary in the workbook for lesson 160. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. Fear has no place in your mind, no place in your heart. It does not exist. It's not real. Who you are truly is real. So you can access this. And you access it in the present moment, one decision at a time. All right. So let's pop on and say hello here. Looks like we've got a couple of folks watching here. Hi, how are you? Robin and Jenny, hi, how are you? Thank you all for tuning in here. And if you're catching me on the replay, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, feel welcome to pop in and say hello and leave questions and comments here. I hope that ideas like this, which I just, well, it's not really me that's delivering the message here. It's pretty much channeled. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about a given idea in the workbook when I start the live stream. And that is despite the fact that I've been through the workbook before, that I work with this material, that I teach professionally. I teach A Course in Miracles and Spirituality professionally. I'm a spiritual coach and teacher. Despite the fact that I work in this arena, I still show up and I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. So what I hope is that if there's something that you've heard that really sticks with you and resonates with you, that you sit with that. Now, if it's something that troubles you deeply, sit with that too. I encourage this. I always encourage skepticism on the path. There is most definitely a place for it. Why? It's not about belief. It's not about, do you believe something that somebody wrote 2,000 years ago, not referring to any particular collection of stories or anything that was edited by multiple councils, multiple times, entire books, gospels, so-called, chopped out of it. Nothing super edited like that, right? Do you believe something just because someone who's not putting that into practice says so? No, I didn't. And you may choose to or not. Really, it's your choice. It is, because spirituality is not about, do you believe this or do you believe that just because someone said so? It's about application. It's about experience, and it's about taking ideas and applying them in your life. And it's very much experimental sometimes. It can be, can't it? You try things on for size. And if you really are truthful with yourself about how diligently you're applying the idea, then you will see what works and what doesn't. And this is one of the reasons why we need every form of spiritual practice under the sun. We absolutely do need them all. And this, A Course in Miracles, is just one. What I love about this course is that everyone is welcome, regardless of your religious or spiritual background. Everyone is welcome. And you're invited to take your time. You're invited to, well, try these ideas on, right, for size, so to speak. You're invited to apply them and see what happens. See how you feel. Are you more confident? that you've never left your source. Ideas leave not their source. That's a big theme in A Course in Miracles. You've never left God. And that's what that means. Now, does that excite you? Does that give you a sense of profound relief, perhaps? And on the other hand, does it completely freak you out? That's all right too. It's all legitimate. This is a self-study curriculum. Applies to everyone. So if this is something that is new to you, there are a lot of materials available. This live stream has been going on since January of this year, and you can find back episodes if you're interested in those on the YouTube channel for Enlightened World Network. The show is called A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. And every show on the network has its own playlist, searchable, and you can just go through the list. So there are close to 200 of these shows on there now because it's updated every day. So yeah, beautiful place to catch some information if you're curious about it. And all right, so Robin, hey, yeah, and choices, right? Yeah, I think that we could even title today's live stream Choices. Really, there's just one choice, love or fear. Which do we choose? Well, the one that we choose colors our experience, and the next moment brings us with another choice. So the more you consistently choose love, the more forgiving you become, the more certain you become. You do show up differently in the world. You cannot help but show up differently in the world when you choose love. So again, the idea, I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. All right. Thank you all for joining me here on the weekend. I will be back broadcasting live from Phoenix, Arizona next week on Wednesday. Cindy and I are going to drive back. It's about a 2-day drive. So I'll be on the road on Monday and Tuesday, but I will be back live on Wednesday, and we'll pick right back up where we left off at lesson 161. That's the next lesson here in the workbook. And we'll keep going with these very profound ideas. So as always, open invite to all of you to send me questions or comments if you've got them here. I do check this live stream and the comment thread on it from time to time during the day. So that's if you're catching me on the replay here. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in here.